Sapiens, a remarkable chronicle of humanity's evolution and a book that, on the surface at least, has absolutely nothing to do with marketing. What it does teach us, however, is why we are the way that we are. The way that we interact, the way that we process information, the way that we build networks, and ultimately the way that we make decisions. All of which, of course, is the very bedrock of marketing. The first big marketing lesson relates to the way that we form social structures, and it's all to do with the size of our brains. Not that bigger brains equals greater social ability, the effect is rather less direct. You see, because we have such large brains, a huge proportion of our energy is required just to keep them active. About 25%, compared to say just 8% for chimpanzees, who can instead direct that energy towards their guns, chests and legs. We're basically pretty feeble creatures by comparison. The other effect of our large brains is the relatively short gestation period of humans. You see, if the gestation period were much longer, our large craniums would have caused horrifically high death rates during childbirth. So instead, we're born useless, utterly incapable of doing anything for ourselves for the first couple of years, and instead completely dependent on our parents, which in turn means that they then can't do the things that they otherwise would be doing, such as gathering food, killing predators, etc. This double whammy of physical ineptitude, all caused by our oversized heads, means that we are entirely dependent on broader social networks just to keep us alive. Consequently, our ability to build strong social bonds has become far more important than our ability to do anything as individuals. We have to be able to fit in, to be part of the gang, to identify with those within the tribe, and if necessary, make enemies of those outside it. Being objectively right has never been very important in our evolution. What's been important is that we fit in. We've therefore not evolved the brains of scientists, but of defense lawyers, and this has all sorts of implications for marketing. It explains confirmation bias. It explains the rise of social media networks and influences within social media networks. It also explains people's motivation to make purchases based on self-expression and the way that it helps them to identify with certain social constructs. The second big lesson for marketing is this. The book argues that these social networks and the gossip that took place within them was sufficient to organise us in groups of up to about 150. But what enabled us to go beyond that in a way that no other animal could was not our ability to communicate about fact, but our ability to communicate about fiction. The ability to tell stories about religion, myths, nations, money, football, politics, whatever it might be, and more importantly to believe them ourselves, is what enables us to organise really large groups of strangers who can then channel their collective energy towards the achievement of colossal acts, from the pyramids to space travel. Critically, from a marketing perspective, it's also the reason why great brands have to be able to tell great stories. And this applies just as much to the world of B2B as it does in any consumer market. Yes, B2B brands have to be able to provide more detail to help those concerned rationalise their decisions, but the decisions themselves are still made on a deep, visceral level based on the stories we hear. As marketers, we obsess over the here and now, the most recent Google algorithm update, or the newest social media channel. But I think we might benefit from taking a break from the latest trends and getting to grips instead with the underlying behaviours and traits that have driven us as a species for the last 300,000 years. See you next time.